Once you've created your Tour Master record, you're ready to load your packages. And as I mentioned, packages are the product that is sold or booked into a booking record. To get to package, you can either click on the purple package button, or you can go to the Tour Master record that you created and click the navigation button to go to package. Remember that the newspaper on fire icon indicates the process of creating a new record. We are going to package. This pulls up in a list all of the packages created for this trip. And let's go ahead and look at the core package. Looking at the list, you don't know the core package. It doesn't say core package, but by looking at the title, you're able to discern which one is the core package. This is the itinerary screen. Each one of these line items is what we call a package element, and this is information that has been loaded from the vendor library. A lot of them are components that are provided directly by your company, but you see we get into some components down here that have been provided by third-party vendors. We have a price adjust screen. This will allow you to fine-tune the price for the trip. TourTools will do its best when you put in the vendor components and the prices. It will do its best to calculate the prices for you, but it will not dictate to you what you have to charge for a trip. You're always able to go in and adjust those prices. This is the main pricing screen. You're able to assign a type of package. Typically a core or primary package would be PKG or CRU, which is short for cruise, or STDNT, which is short for student. It is primary, which we also refer to as core. And we have a very elaborate commissioning process. So if you pay commissions, we're able to help you calculate the commissions for your group leaders and your agents. In order to add or remove components from a package, we're able to pop up a list. These are components that are in the vendor library that will allow you to pull services from that library and load them into the package. Like many things in TourTools, they are color-coded to indicate, to give you additional information. You see that the dates of this tour are October 10th through October 15th. This particular vendor has, never mind for a moment that Hotel Washington is located in Washington, D.C., and this trip goes to Italy. Never mind for a moment that you actually wouldn't use it, but you see the buffet breakfast is yellow, which indicates that you do have a price that is valid for this date. In other words, this price is valid January 1st through the 31st of 2013. And we have room prices available within that same time frame. So technically, these records, these services could be loaded to the package record. In this case, this, as I mentioned, is a hotel in Washington, so you probably wouldn't want to do that. The red indicates that these components are not available for this package because of the date. We don't have a date match on these dates. Now, as you're building more complex trips, you can pull your components up by destination as well. So this would show, assuming this would be destination Washington, D.C. Again, not appropriate for this trip necessarily, but to illustrate the point, this shows all of the components available for a trip going to Washington, D.C. And if you want to fine-tune it even a little bit more, we can look for attractions. I guess we don't have any attractions. Let's go look at hotels. I guess we have a couple of admissions. Maybe we have some meals. Yeah, we have some meals. So if you have a tour planner who is perhaps not quite as familiar with a destination, they can literally shop within the TourTools system to find components and prices to add to packages. Once your itinerary is complete, you can then go to the pricing page and you can price your trip. You're able to price not only on one cost factor, and again, this is the number by which all of your fixed costs are divided, but you can set up a range of cost factors, because a group leader will often approach you and say, well, I'd like a price for 50, 30, and maybe 20 or 25. Or sometimes you'll just automatically do it because you know the group leader doesn't always come in with the numbers that they anticipate. By loading your date range over here, you simply click the Set Price button, and it will then calculate the prices. And you have a separate table created then with each of the sets of calculated prices. Now, here I told it I would like a 25% margin, 0.25. So it dutifully calculated the selling price of the trip based on that profit margin. Now I can look at this number and I can say, well, I can't sell that for that figure. I need to sell it for $27.99 and $41.99. I can load those prices, click the Adjust button, and it will then go ahead and do that. And by the same token, it will adjust the numbers here to tell me how that price change has affected my profit margin. It shows the profit margin both in dollar amounts and percentage amounts. Now, as bookings are coming in for this package, it's obviously based on the prices that I publish. The Publish button is here, and publishing in TourTools simply describes the process by which these prices for this package are made available to the booking database for inclusion in booking records. If the group leader at some point calls back and says, well, I didn't get my 16, I only have 12, it's simply a matter of clicking the 12, and it changes the packages, and I republish, and all of the booking records will be switched to the new price. So it saves, again, an enormous amount of work. Now, if any of the components in the package change, you're able to adjust your prices right here. It's not only a cost factor change that would necessitate a change in price. Sometimes the prices change. You want to get an idea of what your profit picture looks like, and you are not going to pass the price change on to your booking records. Sometimes when your net costs decrease, which would increase your profit, you can elect not to pass those expenses or pass that change on to your passengers. Sometimes when the prices go up, you do have to pass the increase on to your passengers. In any case, you do have the choice whether or not you pass those changes on to your passengers. We have a couple of quick reports that show the components and what the prices are. Two different forms. One are the basic net rates, and then the other form is the calculated per person rates. There are three different forms for any net cost that you will load into the system: per person, per room, or fixed. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in the vendor library module. But essentially, any cost that you incur from a vendor for a package will fall into one of those three categories. On the Reports tab, once you've loaded your components, if you have loaded text, it will generate a very nice proposal. This is more of a proposal style itinerary. It has day one and each component with a description. At this point, because it's a proposal, we typically do not add dates. We obviously would want to include prices because they need to know how expensive a trip is. These are the packages that we've elected to put the prices on the proposal. Once you have a trip set up, we talked briefly about sample itineraries, sample tours. Once you have that set up, you can duplicate a tour using the duplication process and produce a priced itinerary with a proposal literally in less than 5 minutes. You can then email this. If this proposal is associated with a client record, a group leader record, you would have a choice to email this document directly to the group leader. You can also create a follow-up to-do activity in client if you so desire, which puts a reminder on your calendar.